Yo, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you're tuning into this broadcast, Issues, Coach Ish, whatever you want to call me. Back again with another video to talk some more boxing. All right, so this is the third video I'm making about Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo, and a lot of people. I've been watching a lot of videos, a lot of reactions. A lot of fans' reactions, a lot of the reactions of the pundits, and I wanna explore a topic and address it. So, was Jermell Charlo fighting scared against Canelo Alvarez? I was talking to somebody in the comment section of my breakdown of the video, and he disagreed with me when I said that he acquitted himself well. Let me explain something. I seen Antonio Tarver say that the fight was a done deal, or it was a foregone conclusion after the first couple rounds. I'm going to say the fight was a foregone conclusion after the fight was signed. The fight was a foregone conclusion after the fight was signed. At first I tried to give Jermell Charlo a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Just based on casual information, based on this fighter against this fighter, without doing a deep dive. That's why I didn't give a prediction in my first video. I said I would wait and see how things progressed and give my prediction later on down the line, right? So there were certain things that I needed to see. And one of the things that I didn't do, that I didn't have a chance to do in my first video, that I did in my second video, was I usually, before I give a prediction, I got to go back and watch. I got to go back and study. I got to go back and watch at least your last 3 previous fights for both fighters. At least the last 3 performances. And I did that with Canelo. I did that with Charlo, and I came to the conclusion that although Charlo had a puncher's chance to turn the fight around, he didn't have much of a chance to win that fight. He's not skilled. Canelo is a different animal. People are upset with Charlo, say, oh, lion's only, where was the lion? I mean, he was in the ring with Canelo. So there's the lion. He's actually in the ring. He didn't duck the smoke when the opportunity came to, people duck smoke with fighters all the time, even though it's a big payday. So, people try to simplify by saying, oh, you just went in there for the bag. Yeah, but there's some fighters that won't even get in the ring for the bag. They won't even get in the ring for the bag. How many, especially in the age of ducking, some fighters won't even get in the ring with Canelo, even though it's their biggest payday. You know what I mean? So the lion showed itself by him even getting in the ring. But put a lion, a full-grown lion, in the ring with a full-grown grizzly bear. Let's see what's gonna happen. He was in there with a grizzly bear. Put a 400-pound lion in there with a 600-pound grizzly bear. Who you think gonna win? He was in there with a full-fledged 600-pound grizzly bear. You know what I mean? So, even a lion in the animal kingdom would lose to a tiger. A lot of people don't know that. You put a lion and a tiger in the ring, let them fight, a lion would lose to a tiger. It's for one simple reason. Number one, tigers are usually bigger. Number two, tigers fight with both paws. Tigers raise up on their hind legs and they fight with both hands. Lions only fight with one. Lions usually strike with just one. You know what I'm saying? So a tiger would beat a lion, but we're not even talking about a tiger. We're talking about a full-fledged grizzly bear. A lion ain't beating no full-fledged grizzly bear. Jermell Charlo went up 2 weight classes to fight the boss level. He fought one of the if not the best pound for pound fighter in the world. I don't think he's the best pound for pound fighter in the world, but there's a lot of people who do. I do think he's top 5 best pound for pound fighters in the world. He's on my pound for pound list. You know? So he didn't just go up and wait to fight a champion at 168. He went up to fight the champion at 168. He went up to fight, like I said, he went to the boss level. So, what was his chances to win? He could catch Canelo slipping, take advantage of the opportunity, crack him, and that will ultimately, hopefully change the course of the fight. But until he get that opportunity, he got to do what he's supposed to do. Box. You know what I'm saying? Just keep moving. Work behind the jab. You know what I mean? Do what he normally does. He doesn't have power. I didn't think that his power would carry up to he knocked out Castaño, yeah, but Castaño pretty much gave him the knockout. Because Castaño, like, I went back and watched that Castaño fight, both of them actually, but even the second fight, Castaño pressed the action because he didn't really have no choice. If he wanted to win, he was going to have to walk through the fire. Now, as a fighter, when your skills are not working, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm training fighters, we work on all of the skills necessary to win the fight. But I also work on walking through the fire. Because if the skills is not working, if what you worked on in the gym is not working, then if your strategy isn't working, then at some point you gotta just, if you really want to win, you gotta just decide to walk through the fire. And when you walk through the fire, you're making a choice. You're going to get burnt. You're going to get burnt. You know what I'm saying? When firefighters run into a burning building to save somebody, they know they're going to get burnt. They know that they're gonna suffer from smoke inhalation and all that other stuff. They know that it's a possibility that they're going to die. Hopefully they get in there and get what they need to get, or get who they need to get out of the building, and accomplish their goals. So, everybody can't be a fireman. Everybody don't have the temperament to be a fireman, to walk through the fire, to go into the fire. So at some point, Castaño, he had no choice but to walk through the fire. And he walked through the fire, and the building fell down on top of him. And sometimes that happens. It's a risk that you take. It's a huge risk. But that's why he got knocked out. Because he couldn't get past Charlo's reach. And so he just decided to bring the fight to Charlo. And even when he was doing that, he was having some success. And that's when I was like, Canelo, he's not going to beat Canelo. Because Canelo is way better than Castaño. And some of the things that Canelo does well, Castaño was doing. But Canelo does a whole bunch of other things well as well. Because Canelo has way better defense. He hits harder. He's bigger. He's more experienced. He's more savvy in the ring. Canelo's been in the ring with bigger punchers, never been dropped. So the likelihood of Charlo dropping Canelo or stopping Canelo was unlikely, even though there's a slight chance. But I didn't think he was going. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have the skill set. Canelo's only been beat by 2 fighters. And the thing that both of those 2 fighters have in common is that they are extremely skilled. They're extremely skilled. And when you go up in weight, you know, I see Tim Bradley say it in an interview. He's 100% correct. When you go up in weight, then it becomes about your skill. When you start moving up and down in weight, you know what I'm saying? Trying to conquer different weight divisions. Only the fighters who are really skilled are able to pull that off. Just some of the notable names that's been able to pull that off. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Vasily Lomachenko, you know, now Terrence Crawford, you know, Roy Jones back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Ridiculous amount of skill. Ridiculous amount of skill. We're talking about fighters with ridiculous amount of skill. Not just they do one thing and they just do it well. No, you gotta be able to do 3, 4, 5 things really well. You know what I'm saying? When the way you fight at 154 don't work, you gotta fight differently at 168. When the way you fight, you know, you gotta be able to change up, switch up the way you fight. You know, at each particular weight class from opponent to opponent. So I say that to say that that's not Jermell Charlo. And not only is that not Jermell Charlo, that's not Derrick James. You know, I think Derrick James is overrated as a coach, with all due respect. Because I look at all his fighters, they all fight the same. They all go into the ring with one game plan. And when that game plan don't work, they just stick to it. They just do the same thing. They just do the same thing. So, you know, I train fighters. I've trained at every level at this point. You know what I'm saying? Children, adults, amateurs, pros. And, you know, whether I'm training casual students who just want to get in shape, or I'm training students who want to fight and compete, I don't train all fighters the same. I don't train them all the same. You know, the skills, tactics, and strategies, right? As far as the skills go, you know, I'm general across the board as far as implementing the skills, but I try to go through all of them. Every skill that you need in order to box and do this boxing thing to the best of your ability. All the skills that you won't necessarily need. And I try to go through all of them. You know what I mean? Then there's tactics. The tactics may change depending on from person to person. And then the strategy is always different depending on that's just depending on the opposition. Who you actually in the ring with, whether you're in the ring competing or whether you sparring. How do you implement those skills? Right? But the skills is not just, you know, it's not just throwing a jab, it's all the different kind of jabs. Not just throwing the two, it's all the different kind of twos. You know what I'm saying? The footwork, you know what I mean? It's like you learn the specific skills and then you branch off of all of those specific skills that you learn, you know what I mean? And get to the nuances of all these specific skills. You know? High guard defense. Okay, high guard defense with the slip, high guard defense with the parry and the active hands. You know, how to fight on the inside, how to tie up, how to escape, how to, you know, fight from orthodox, how to be a switch fighter, fight from orthodox and southpaw. I try to cover it all. Because all of it is not going to stick with everybody. It's like a buffet. You know what I'm saying? You put out the whole buffet with a whole bunch of stuff. Everybody's not going to eat everything. People going to take what they need from each different tray, put it on a plate, customize their plate accordingly. That's going to be satisfactory for them. Same thing with boxing. When I teach boxing, it's a buffet. I'm going to lay out all of it. The desserts, the salads, the meats, the seafoods, the rice, the pasta, the breads, all of it. You know what I'm saying? And then certain people are going to gravitate towards certain ingredients. And then the tactics of how to use those ingredients are going to vary from person to person. And then the strategy that you use is going to vary from fighter to fighter, from opposition, from opponent to opponent. And I don't see that with Derrick James. From Frank Martin all the way up to Anthony Joshua, they all fight the same. Anthony Joshua's been robotic, but then he got with Derrick James, who pretty much just kind of improved a little bit of what Anthony Joshua already does. But Anthony Joshua fought like them already. So Anthony Joshua with Derrick James is a perfect fit, really, because he really fought the way Derrick James and him fight his whole career. So I seen one video where the dude was saying, talking about, Errol Spence and comparing Errol Spence to Charlo and saying that, he didn't have no game plan just like Errol Spence didn't. They're trained by the same trainer. So taking all of that into consideration, for me, leading into the fight, I didn't give Charlo much of a chance to win that fight. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he went in there and came out unscathed is a testament to him. People can say, oh, you ran and you fought scared. And I mean, I don't think he fought scared. There's a street statement, you know what I'm saying? That say the real ones, basically, I'm going to give the mild version. Real ones do what they want. Others do what they can. Real ones do what they want. Others do what they can. Canelo did what he wanted to do. Charlo did what he could do. He didn't do what he wanted to do. He did what he could do. He wasn't allowed to do what he wanted to do. Because he was a lion in there. He was a 400-pound lion in there with a 600-pound grizzly bear. And if anybody thinks that a 400-pound lion can beat a 600-pound grizzly bear, you must don't watch the Animal Channel that much. I do. I'm fascinated by the animal kingdom. And I can tell you right now, a 400-pound lion is not beating a 600-pound grizzly bear. And that's what the lion, Jermell Charlo, was in there with a 600-pound grizzly bear, and he didn't get sliced up and chewed up and laid on the ground as a carcass. He escaped to go back home and hunt again. Like, what do you want him to do? Go in there to please you and try to swing for the fences and do a whole bunch of things that is going to get him clipped? Tim Bradley said, he's like, yeah, Charlo could have, pushed the pace a little bit to give himself more of a chance, but he would have gave, I think it was Tim Bradley or Antonio Tarver that said it. I think it was Antonio Tarver now I think about it. But he would have gave Canelo more of a chance too, meaning if he would have went in there and fought the way y'all saying that he should have fought, he would have got clipped. He would have gotten clipped. He would have gotten clipped and possibly damaged for the rest of his life, for the rest of his career. Look at, I'll give you a good example of that on the same undercard, Ugas. On the same fight card, Ugas. Look how Ugas looked against Mario Barrios because he got beat up and stopped by Errol Spence. He's not the same no more. That fight against Errol Spence damaged him. He's not the same. He's not the same. You could see it in the first couple rounds of that Barrios fight, and his eye was starting to swell up. I was like, man, this dude's not the same. He's not the same at all. Errol Spence damaged him permanently. So Jermell Charlo avoided getting damaged permanently by the fighter that's at the boss level of 168. 2 levels above him. Where's the lion? The lion was there, but he was fighting a grizzly bear. A lion don't look the same against a hyena and a grizzly bear. You know what I'm saying? You need a pride of lions to take down a grizzly bear. Full-fledged 600-pound grizzly bear with the long talons. You know what I'm saying? 6-inch long claws. One swipe, whew, take a limb off. Ain't no lion doing nothing with that. That's what he was in the ring with. That's the perspective people got to look at it from. He didn't fight scared. He fought. He was outmatched. He survived. I think if he would have fought scared, he'd have got clipped. He fought smart. You know, not going to be, oh, he wasn't talking trash. He wasn't. Yeah, that was smart. Sometimes it's smart to talk trash in the lead up and antagonize your opponent. Sometimes it don't. People say, oh, he fought to survive. That's what you're supposed to do. One of the most famous fights in history is the Rumble in the Jungle, Ali Foreman. Ali fought to survive until the opportunity presented itself, and then he got the knockout. But let's just say, because Ali didn't start fighting at the opening bell. Ali started fighting when they both arrived in Africa, in Zaire, right? He started fighting right then and there. He started antagonizing George Foreman, putting the people against him, making it uncomfortable, pissing him off. Because he knew his only shot was to go in there and get George Foreman to swing and miss, or to tire him. You know, he knew George Foreman had stamina issues. You know what I'm saying? If I get him to go in there and blow his load, then I'll have a chance. And that's what he did. But let's say George Foreman would have kept his head and would have went in there and wouldn't have blown his load and wasn't trying to kill Ali. You know what I'm saying? And would have took his time, measured him with the jab when he was laying on the ropes. Just beat him up. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just land shots. Let him sit there, cover up, land shots. If Ali could have danced around the whole fight and made George Foreman miss the whole fight, he would have done it, but he couldn't because he was older and bigger and slower. So he laid on the ropes. That's fighting to survive. He didn't go out there and was trying to push George Foreman back and land shots and go to the body and all that. He laid on the ropes and fought to survive until George Foreman tired himself out. Then he knocked him out. Sometimes that's what you got to do in a fight. Sometimes you just got to stick to what you know and survive. Keep him at the end of the jab. Tie up. All these things, this is all a part of boxing. You can't just go in there and beat up everybody. Sometimes you got to fight to survive until an opportunity presents itself. Keep your faculties, keep your strategy, stay at the end of the jab, keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Erislandy Lara did the same thing to Canelo. Not the same thing, but Erislandy Lara, that's one of the reasons why people say that, that's one of the reasons why Erislandy Lara didn't get the win against Canelo. But a lot of people still say Erislandy Lara beat Canelo. That's all he did was move. He barely stayed in the pocket. Mayweather stayed in the pocket more than Lara did. And people still would say, most boxing fans who are familiar with that fight will say, especially if they not really big Canelo fans, will say, nah, Lara actually beat Canelo. I feel like Lara beat Canelo. So, you know, him not going in there trying to land big shots, and him not going in there pushing the envelope, or him not going in there fighting in a way that people would think, you know, that he's fighting in a way that you know, he's trying to win the fight. That opportunity wasn't allowed for him to do. And if he would have done that, he would have got knocked out cold. He would have got put to sleep. He would have got hurt real bad. And who does that benefit besides the fans? So I'm not disappointed at Charlo's performance. I don't think he fought scared. I thought he did what he could do. Canelo did what he wanted. Charlo did what he could. And he did what he could and didn't get stopped. Didn't get hurt. So he acquitted himself well. But he didn't really have no chance. He didn't have no real chance of beating Canelo. Canelo's too big, too experienced, too skilled. He has every advantage over Charlo. He He has a skill advantage. Only advantage Charlo has against Canelo was a physical reach advantage. And physical reach advantages, physical advantages can be overcome by mental advantages. Canelo had the mental advantage. He's more experienced. He's been in the ring with better opposition. He's the man. He's fighting and fought at a higher weight class. He's taking shots and he's been in there with the biggest punchers in the weight class. Kovalev, the Crusher, Sergey the Crusher Kovalev, and Gennady Golovkin. You know what I'm saying? Danny Jacobs. Kirkland. Angulo. You know what I'm saying? He's been in there with some punchers. He's been in there with dudes who punch way harder than Charlo. So he's coming in to fight with the mental advantage. Also, he has more physical advantage than Charlo. He's bigger. He hits harder. He has more skills. He has better defense. His defense has been proven, tested, tried. There's reels and memes showing you how elite Canelo's defense is. He's better at everything. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's more confident. He's more accomplished. You gonna overcome all of that with just a reach advantage? Nah. So he acquitted himself well. He's not what people thought. I'm one of those ones that are guilty of thinking that Charlo was better than he was. I came down from that in the first Tony Harrison fight, when I seen him struggle against Tony Harrison. I said, no, he's not as good. In fact, that's probably was the first time that I said, because I used to say, Charlo, either one of the Charlos would beat Canelo, yada, yada, yada. And I think after that, it was that Tony Harrison fight. Even though he got the revenge win, but when I seen him struggle that first fight, I said, man, he not beating no Canelo. And then that same night, his brother struggled against Matt Korobov. I think that's his name. Struggled. I said, man, neither one of them are beating Canelo. Sometimes we could get fueled by the hype, man, and you know what I'm saying, and with these fighters building their careers and fighting in, you know what I'm saying, in really good matchmaking. They're fighting fights against fighters who are tailor-made for them. And we could get caught up in that hype. That's why I say a lot about Boots. Boots ain't proven yet. He ain't nothing until he showed me something against somebody of substance. Other than that, remember the hype around Adrian Broner? Adrian Broner was supposed to have been the next Mayweather. Anybody still believe that? Anybody still think that? Anybody, you know what I'm saying? People probably who used to think that will probably deny that they ever said that. He's the furthest thing from a Floyd Mayweather that there could be. But at one point, he was billed as the next Mayweather because he was looking like the next Mayweather against opposition that was put in front of him that was tailor-made to make him look that way. So we got to stop getting hype off that stuff, man, and start judging them based on, opposition, of substance. People who they not supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I never thought, Charlo had a real chance of beating Canelo. So he went in there and did what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? People, he went in there just for the bag. Okay, there's a lot of, he didn't duck. You can't have it both ways. If he would have turned down the fight, then people would have been mad at him for ducking. He took the fight. He didn't get stopped and dropped and beat up. I don't see the fault. I don't see the fault that everybody's trying to throw on Charlo, you know what I'm saying, and tarnish his name and drag him through the mud. I'm not the biggest Charlo fan, but, I don't see what he did wrong. No, I don't see what he did wrong. He'd have went in there really fighting the way people say he was supposed to fight in order to appease the fans, to appease the mob who said he should have been fighting this kind of way in order to try to get the win. He'd have got his brains knocked out. He'd have got stopped and hurt and potentially never been the same after that. And that wouldn't have benefited nobody except for the fans. So shout out to Charlo for taking the fight. I maintain that he acquitted himself well. And as we proceed, like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let's talk about it. Peace.